Yeah, we just don't really know. That's the
Now,
problem.
of course, we don't know.
Yeah.
If we
Um,
knew the price would be at 25K
yeah,
or zero.
true. True. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
Gentlemen, ladies, comrades, welcome to episode 23 of the Quamfy Show. On this third Christmas day in the Netherlands, it is already 9:30. Tim and I have been chatting for like an hour on a ton of things. And we concluded that obviously we had a very decent price pump, right? And markets are bullish over several segments, but there's not that much to go over when it comes to QNT and um, and the developments. I mean, there are developments, right? There's the same people, same type of people coming into the groups asking for when staking. Um, so we can have a little chat about that. Obviously, there's the question: why did Quant pump? Is there news? Um, so yeah, we're gonna dive into that a little bit, and then there is obviously still the question: which tokens should we actually buy instead of Quant? Because Quant is still lagging, and will it ever pump? And so on. In the meantime, I had a very comfy Christmas. I am still comfy as fuck, and never been happier to be close to all in on QNT. I do have some side coins, but it is really relaxing, relaxing to not have to be glued to my screen and wonder whether shit will dump or pump, or do I need to flip or skip or whatever you want to call it, um, which makes me even more comfy. And yeah, with that off the bat, Tim, brother,
Yeah.
how are you doing?
Uh yeah, those it's kind of this weird week in between Christmas and New Year's, right? Kind of in Dutch I would say it's a kind of a hungover week. Not sure if that's a correct translation in English. But it's this lazy week, right? So we've had Christmas, which was it's different. For me personally, like things changed in my family, so like we had our first Christmas day, kind of as usual, just with fewer family members. And I'm also working this year, and it's kind of busy at work, so everything the vibe is different, so to say. But nonetheless, it's kind of the holiday season, and I think everything is kind of okay. I do not really agree with you that I'm really happy to be in Quant at the moment. Sure, we had a nice bump, but I see other cryptos doing really well. And I kept telling myself that I shouldn't jump on the bandwagon of other cryptos. And that's a game where you kind of, no matter what you do, you will always end up losing, right? So if you join the bandwagon, it will go downwards. And if you stand by the sidelines, it will only go up and up and up.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure exactly where to position myself. I am really happy with the recent pump though. We kind of grew. Price went up a little bit. Um, but I don't know.
In
I'm not as
limbo.
I'm kind of in limbo. That's the right word. I'm kind of in limbo on
Yeah.
what to do. I'm kind of decisionless, where to go, where to head next. Because I feel like everything is pumping except us, and we are kind of catching up. But at the same time, it feels toppy, so it might also go down. That's kind of the limbo where I am right now, and that might be
Yeah.
a very good point to discuss.
Yeah.
But yeah, crypto aside, everything is fine, I guess. Yeah,
Good
sorry.
man. No, all good. Let's just dive into the Coingecko side of things, right? Let's let's see what we're at. So this is all euros, right? BTC 39K, down 3.7 on the week. Market cap 760 billion and 21 billion in volume. ETH is up 4% on the week. If you look on the graph, you can see it's making a nice little slope there. So that's what, 6% up on the day, went from 2k euro to 2100, which is nice for a lot of people that are in there. But ETH, if you look at the 1 year, it's up 100%. So yeah, 17%, 18% on the month. So there are some things that are moving. BNB is doing rather well, 19% on the week, on 2 billion of volume. Solana, well, they seem to be cooling off a bit now. I mean, Solana was what, talk of the town for a while, right? Went from a little bit above 60 euros all the way up to 110. And for top 10 projects, that's
significant.
That's pretty, that's pretty significant. Yeah. Curious to see if that will last. And yeah, from then on, waters get even more murky with XRP still hovering around the 57-cent mark. We got the Cardanos, the AVAXs, the Doge coins. Doge is out of the top 10. Love to see that. So on the week, Polygon made a 31% move. That's reasonable. Solana did 30%. So if you ask me, right, on the weekly, I'd say this is pretty tame. But we had Christmas in between. Uniswap did an 18%. I can't remember, that thing was what? The Euro 1, 2?
I really don't know anything about Uniswap. I have no idea.
Yeah, I had that airdrop 400 unis like back in 2020. Near protocol.
I remember.
This nauseates me a bit. Optimism. That was the airdrop I had. I got like 2.5K of these things, and I sold it at €1.70, which is nice, right? It's like what, 2.5, 3K. But now it's up to almost €4 it was, which is insane. I mean, profit is profit, and especially when it's free money. But it's a bittersweet thing, right? This optimism is now position 26. I mean, it's an older project. I mean, how old is it? Isn't it July 2022? But look at that line, man. That's just a cliff going up there. So yeah. And then we're getting closer and closer to the top 30. Where we got the Hederas. And I mean, Aptos, APT, did a 21%. I have no idea what that is.
Me neither.
Filecoin, I remember buying that in 2020 as a low cap gem. Needed to buy that.
What was it? Filecoin was something. It was about data storage. Data storage, right?
Something like that. I don't know, man. That was the same. You had Filecoin, and there was this other one. Whatever. But yeah, so that's still there.
Data.
Yeah, VET. And then we're getting to position 43, where Quant is up 25.9% on the week. Lido DAO up 25% as well. But yeah, looking at Quant while we are there, it was weird, right? And Hungarian did some research, and the behavior is the same as it is always, right? Odd Coinbase 10 wallet transactions, all in a single block, all corresponding numbers moving to wallets with no ETH, etc. I can't be bothered to show you the research. Please go into the Quamfy Lounge and you can find it there. But if you look at this graph right here on the screen right now, this fucking volume spike on Christmas morning, right? This was Sunday the 24th. We went from a moderate 21 mil up to a peak of 156 mil volume. That is crazy. That's what, a 7x? So we 7x the volume. Price spiked at 138 euros. So we went from 103 to 136. And then volume died down a bit, probably because it was late. Yeah, it was nighttime. Then in the morning, it picked up a little bit again, went to the 100 something, and then it died off. But price remained kind of stable. Well, I'm no TA guru, but looking at the here, so we had 2 days of pump, then spiked, and now we have 2 days of cool down.
Yeah,
Decreasing.
it seems like we're consolidating or ranging.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, but the price is not dumping whilst the volume is taken down. It's going down. So that should be, if I remember correctly, okay-ish. But yeah, we'll have to see how it goes approaching New Year's. A lot of people bullish, but yeah, where did this come from? Why on Christmas morning did the volume 7x? Well, we have been begging Gil for a sign and an AMA. Now, we don't know, but this out of the blue, this seems strange. I'm not sure about what happened with social volume and other stuff like that. But Hungarian stating that this wallet behavior is very, very similar to what wallets did, I believe it's 260 days ago and way back when in 2021. So this could be additional buys, lockups, preparations for more good stuff that's coming in the new year that we know is coming. Well, we don't know. We just don't know. So people come in and ask, was there any news? Yeah,
no.
the price went up.
Yeah.
That's
and the thing
right?
is, like, this happens now in environments where everything is kind of going up. The same thing happened in 2021, and we don't really know still what caused it. We think it's lockups, but we're not sure. We can never be entirely sure that is like the main reason. It could also be social.
Yeah, but I'm sure enough to keep my investment, right, based on this.
Oh yeah, nonetheless.
I mean, I was always confident, but the research done by Sebastian, Hungarian Horntail, and other people from Counchill, that has solidified my conviction that there is a lot going on, even though we don't hear a lot going on, right? Because they try to keep everything under wraps. But yeah, Ethereum is still a public blockchain. And if they buy, sell, transfer tokens, it will leave a trail. And they can do all they want to obfuscate, but there will always be patterns, right? If you let humans do anything, it can never be random, right? And we need to do things because we need to organize the wallets. We need to organize the structure. There cannot be entropy throughout the system because you cannot find, as far as I know, back what belongs to whom. So let's say it's licensing, and let's say they use Coinbase custody or Coinbase whatever. That is our leading assumption. They need some kind of a filing system, an organization, and they need to abide by certain house rules, certain, I mean, a cold wallet is still an Ethereum address, right? You cannot take these things, these tokens out of circulation, literally take them off chain and then file them. You cannot do this. So it is pretty safe to assume that there is some sort of a filing system going on and that it has been found, but it is hard to accept for a lot of people, which is also fine because I did accept this as to being a reasonable reality, and that helps me to huddle and speculate in my mind a bit about what's going on. I mean, if you look at the numbers, we're talking not like a couple of thousand coins. I believe that we're guesstimating that there's roughly I think it's not yet 2 mil tokens, but somewhere close to that are now in the quote unquote hands of license lockups.
Yeah.
And if you look at that, that is 2 million tokens no longer in circulation for the duration of at least a year, which is cool. But when you also think about it, what is 2 million tokens times, let's say, 100 euros in volume? It is almost nothing. If you spread it out over a couple of years or over a year, which means that those type of tokens can be acquired, can be obfuscated within the volume, can be locked away. But the fact that these tokens are no longer on the market actually does wonders for price, because there's just way fewer tokens circulating.
Yeah.
And when eventually everything will go and do what we expect, right? Also with the gateways, that number will increase even more dramatically. And then we get the question, when the gateways, right, Tim?
Yeah, we do. I mean, just getting back to the original point. So what causes this? It's not a question of FA, right? It's not a question of the fundament, or there's no reason to change or thoughts or the investment thesis behind everything. Just now short-term market behavior. And it can go really rapidly. It can literally go really rapidly. I think a 20% price increase in a couple of hours is not unheard of. Certainly not in crypto, but with Quant, gets even worse if you take all the other factors into consideration. And I think once we get any kind of substantial news again, and you have the right amount of social volume, will go even quicker. But it's kind of nice that even though we do not necessarily get any news from Quant's side, right? So like no substantial new things besides everything we already know, that it can still pump out of the blue.
Yeah.
It can still follow other cryptos, and it also, I think, kind of should warn everyone that Quant is still here, right? We can suddenly overtake other crypto projects out of nowhere.
Yeah.
We can suddenly move up. We're not done yet.
What I found really funny was there were a lot of people that were really fucking scared. And we have a little bit of a 10%, 20% pump. And everybody is again in war paint. Let's fucking go! Quantum changer! Fucking lounge, man. And all the people that have been crying and shit for months on end. With the cynicism and the sarcasm. I love it so much that Jeff and a couple of other guys seem to have made a list that when the pump truly begins, those guys will just get booted.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird, man, how a little bit of price fluctuation influences people's psychology so bad. That's why you're obviously here with the Quamfy Show, because we are very level-headed and steady, emotional. Always bullish.
Balanced.
Always.
No. Yeah.
Always bullish. But but yeah, coming back to the volume spike, right? It could be renewal of licenses or new licenses, right? Companies that want to start in the new year. There's obviously rumors about SCTP going live next year. There was also rumors about Finality that in some way, shape, or form plugs into Quant. I also subscribe to that being a very, very real reality, and not just some Telegram Moonboy group hopium. But all those things eventually will require the illustrious gateways, especially the SATP, right, or SATP, Secure Asset Transfer Protocol, the former ODAP. I still believe the gateways will come. I still believe that we will be able to run them. Why? Because decentralization of the network has always been a primary goal for Gil, right? He called it a hyper decentralized supercomputer, right? Overledger network, Overledger platform. Just because it has a centralized entity does not mean it cannot be decentralized. That is just bullshit, nothing knowing, Twitter maxis, discombobulating facts with fiction and utopian, dystopian fantasy scenarios as to what will happen. Nothing will be 100% decentralized and also adopted by government and banks. That has always been our stance, and that remains. Gilbert knows this. That's why they are the accountable party in the middle. But they also know that the decentralization of consensus to a degree and how do you say, computing power and all those things, that's a necessity for resiliency of a network, for strength of a network, for reliability of a network, for trust. So it will come. When, we do not know. But when it comes, I will not be left behind, right? I will not be all in on shit coins. I'll be patiently waiting, and I'll be running that gateway when I can. And yes, it will not be for everyone, right? It will require KYC. So you will need to share your identity. And it will not be easy to pool this in some obscure pool, because it will most likely be a public permissioned network. And I will not be running a gateway for you so you can put your illicitly gained tokens and launder it through my gateway and make me responsible. It's not going to happen. And a lot of people are not going to like that. But it is the future.
I mean, it's the future, but will this... I mean, sure, here we go again with the entire discussion. No, it's good that we bring it up. Sometimes we need to do it, and especially in the last episode of this year, 2023.
Yes.
But yeah, is it really feasible that we will be doing it as like ourselves? Or will this... You know what I mean, right? Will we really see individuals running their own gateway at the end of the day? I really start to doubt that. I am not sure anymore. I mean, we know that Overledger needs the gateways, but like in the system that they promised initially, I do not see that realistically being on the table anymore as of now. Not from
how come? I'm curious.
If it's so essential, we should have, after all those years, we should have seen some movement towards it. We've had multiple suggestions that it's not necessarily like their main interest, right? We've had the Carlo Calista case, and whatever you think of it, he might have been roughly correct. I think he just said, well, it's not really a project they're working on anymore. I just don't think that it has the right amount of priority, and it's the same problem as what Boss is encountering, right? With the Overledger public versus the private version of Overledger. it's that same dilemma, and you see it with the gateways as well. I really doubt that it will play out, and it might come, but I cannot put any timestamp on it. That's the thing.
We can put a timestamp
We
on it, but what is important to realize is that
we just don't know.
when the gateways are needed, everything needs to be ready on the back end, and you can expect that when SATP goes live, who are actually building already for SATP, who have been ready from day one, who have helped design SATP, right? The API gateway is the SATP in a way, right? Without those things, the thing in between doesn't work. So Gil knew this, MIT knew this, that's what they created. And I believe that you are right, that the Carlo Calista story on gateways are not a priority right now. I think that's true. I think they were busy doing other things, right? Project Rosalind, Oracle, all those details. And SCTP, as far as I know, think, can see, will go live next year. Michael will go live, so there will be more clarity and accountability. I cannot imagine that they do not have the gateway consensus and setup and everything ready, right? If you look at Overledger platform, what they've been working on last year, all right, there was the authorize, there was the authenticate, and all those things. Those were all features of Overledger platform, and they are all in a way essential for building with that, and arguably also to help connect with others on a network more easily and more secure. Yeah, make it, what was it? Trusted, secure, and future-proof. So
Yeah.
so why not? And what we have heard, we didn't hear a single thing about all those Overledger platform features that they added, right? Which are just like App Store kind of apps you can download. Why wouldn't a gateway not be ready if SATP is on the verge of launching? So I mean, I don't know anything obviously, but how are they going to be using and testing SATP if there is no gateway container, right? That's what we know. It will probably be something different. If there's not a gateway container image that people can just upload and boot up from their computer and have their server convey data from one point to another. I don't know. So I think it's fair to say that back in the Calista days, it was not a priority. But I dare to say that it should be a priority by now. And if they want SATP to launch, I cannot imagine for a single fucking second that if SATP goes live, that Quant will not be the first to have a gateway ready to go, right? And with a gateway ready to go, I mean, here, you can download it, you can put it on your server, and you can go live right fucking now.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine that would not be the case. And I can also not imagine that it's going to be enterprise only, because that is, I mean, obviously enterprises will have it, but it will not be enterprise only, because that never was the goal, because that is already the thing, right? The entire fucking internet is enterprise only. Everybody has their own proprietary little server, their own little gateway, and everybody can corrupt all the data they want on their end and send it to someone else. That's not improving the order of the universe at all. That centralization part, that is one of the things that Gilbert, as far as I can remember, and as far as I understood, wanted to get rid of. And yes, there will always be a permissioned part to it, but there should also be a public part. Look at LACchain. the biggest public permission network in the world right now. Who is going to run stuff on a network there? Will it only be the corporations? I think that's part of the problem of the corruption and all the other things that are going on. I mean, I'm just spitballing shit here, but let me know in the comments what you guys think. I cannot see that gateways will not be a thing anymore in some sort of capacity, because it is one of the most important tokenomic features that were introduced. And as far as we know, Gilbert has never changed a single goddamn thing to the tokenomics, except for the token supply, but let's not get into that. It's yeah, we'll have to wait to see, obviously. Tim.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? If it aligns with the SATP schedules. But yeah, we just don't really know. That's a problem.
No, of course we don't know.
Yeah.
If we knew, the price would be at 25K.
Yeah.
Or zero.
True. Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, the thing is with these kind of speculations, and there are so many possible narratives and outcomes that it's kind of hard to pick. And when the social volume picks up, we all tend to start believing the loudest voices, which kind of have the most convincing story. And right now we have a lot of competition.
Quamfy Show number one.
Yeah, but and right now we see that we have a lot of competition from not necessarily
competition.
No, there is no competition on the FA or the fundamental side or the technical side or the product side, because like the coins which are now doing really well have nothing to do with what Quant is doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not necessarily the issue, but it's more that I don't know. I feel like everyone is not really focused on what's going on here, right? So it doesn't. Yeah, I'm just trying to think out loud, and it's just one of those. I'm just thinking out loud here on the Quamfy Show. This isn't me on my very brightest, but there are some unsolved pieces of the quant puzzle, right? We know that we are. There's basically no competition, except for perhaps some products which might be like fully on the enterprise side, closed for the rest of the public, or in crypto terms we might have CCIP and Chainlink, and that's about it.
There will be products that have a fraction of what Quant's offering, right?
Yeah, of course. That's what I'm talking about.
So,
sure, we will see other products, but for now, in the crypto landscape, we are dominant, and we will remain dominant in terms of interoperability. And there will be some Chainlink, there will be some other projects, but they are. I think it's safe to say that in this space, kind of we are the dominant party, and I see that happening up until the future. But then still, in that should theoretically bring us in the top 10 already, right? If we assume that interoperability is the holy grail, I'm gonna make a timestamp. Meanwhile, you were looking at BitTensor. But yeah, I mean, if you look at it fundamentally, we should be the holy grail, right? We kind of solved the issue of interoperability. And kind of
I forgot I have my screen share on all the time.
Yeah, you were still. If you look closely, you can see Jordan's wallet. And right, so we don't necessarily have to discuss that, and we do that every single week in the two languages. But there are some missing pieces in that puzzle, And sure, we can talk forever about it because they will simply not be solved anytime soon until it happens. And that's kind of the dilemma that we're facing. And one of them is those gateways. We don't really know if they will launch, when they will launch, how they will launch. I think we know that the if question is not necessarily there, because I think they will launch in some way, shape, or form. We just don't know how, and we don't know when, or if they have already been, or that they have already been launched, and that we anticipate something that is not going to be there because it has already been launched in the back end. Then we have the issue of the lockups, right? That's another one of those missing pieces of the puzzle. We roughly estimate which wallets, because you can measure everything, right? It's all on the block plower, ETH everything is on Ethereum. You can literally look everything up. It's all on the network. And we know that there are certain wallets which are not showing any kind of normal behavior. They are definitely not humans. There must be some kind of party that is storing quant on Ethereum. And we are still studying the behavior, but we kind of have ideas and we kind of have theories what is happening, but we don't know for sure. So that's one of the things. And then we have the third thing. We're trying to make sense here. What was it? So we have the lockup story. We have the gateway story.
Is that B? Micah?
Yeah, no. I mean the public overledger against private. That's the third thing. That's the third dilemma. And those are like those puzzle pieces are still things that I haven't really solved, and that kind of right. So the dilemma that we kind of ask boss all you want about it, that we might have two versions of overledger, one which is simply not working, and one on the back end, but they advertise it as if it all works, which is kind of not the case. So that leaves us puzzling as well. And yeah, that's just one of those three things on the fundamental side that I'm still questioning. We don't really know. Sorry, am I really going somewhere here, or am I just bringing up?
See,
and that's still shaky with me. It's still all the other things I have an answer to, but those three things I'm not sure.
Right.
I mean, because we just don't know. We assume it's good, and I personally think it's good, but there's no now what. It's just we'll have to see it progress through time, and we will probably get answers.
Yeah. See, and in my opinion, right, that's the thing that makes everything a little bit.
But if you sorry,
murky.
Can I add? Yeah, it makes it murky. But if I want to add one more thing, is if we had to have this conversation a year ago, so at the end of 2022, we did kind of the end of year special, I think. So I think we call it a Quamfy Christmas special last year.
Yeah.
Because we launched the show again. I think if we go 1 year back in time, then we would have had kind of the same discussion, but we would have more question marks, right? There were more unsolved pieces of the puzzle, and now in end of this year, we definitely have more. We have less unknowns. With the entire CBDC story. Yeah, that we are really nearing.
There were some unknown unknowns that we switched to known unknowns or known knowns, right? Because we now have the Oracle confirmation is nice. The BIS is now 100% confirmed. Same with the Bank of England, which is great.
The Bank of England was incredible news.
Yeah.
We always knew, but now we know for sure.
Yeah, we were then still hoping also that ZP would be live by then. What else was there? Cannot.
I think LACchain. That's something. Okay, that's one of the things we still don't schedule for this year. That's not going to happen.
Sorry for the throat clear.
But I think Project Rosalind really showed us this year what is happening and how it's happening. It's massive. People really underestimate the impact that it had.
Latin American dollar was still programmed for this year. Could be, and I have no legitimate information for this, but the euro was also launched on January 1st. So why not throw the Latin American dollar up at 23.59.59 and call it a 2023 launch? I don't know.
Yeah, highly unlikely.
Could explain the volume right now that they're putting everything on Quant. This is all bullshit. I mean, it's not bullshit, but it's.
Oh, sorry, I put Jarno accidentally on mute because
He muted me.
Yeah, no.
Bastard!
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I had to. This happened. Yeah, this happened by accident. No, I had to.
Anyway,
so Jarno's unfoundational thought. No, yeah, I mean, no, sorry, that was completely by accident. I'm sorry.
But LACchain could still be a thing for 2023. The Latin American dollar. Don't see it happening necessarily. Could be a million. Sorry. Could be a million reasons why it will or will not go live. Well, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But if any of you is waiting for certainty, and I heard Tim say it a lot of times, and that is also what I said to Tim prior to the show, where we were talking about shit coins and should I buy, should I not buy. I mean, I bought some neon at all time high, but it was like what 122. And we both agreed, yeah, it looked toppy as hell, but I bought anyway. And I did the same with Tau and with Check D a while back. I was like, man, I just want to get it out of the way, so I'll just throw a number at it and get it out of my head. I won't have any financial risk of significance, but there's a lot of potential upside. Also because my psychology will then be soothed, right? It's like going to the pub once a week and get hammered as shit so you can just behave like a highly functioning human being for the rest of the week. That's my approach. And yes, there's no certainties. Yes, you can buy it and it can crash at any time. And the same goes with Quant right now. Yes, you do not know if gateways will go live next year. Yes, you do not know if Quant will pump next year. Because if you had that guarantee, then everybody would have that guarantee. Because there is a certain amount of information symmetry, right? To a degree, we all have access to the same information if you know where to look. Practically everything can be found on chain or is in the publication in some way, shape, and form. It just depends on what you want to believe. And if you want the announcements, right, the 100% confirmed, then you cannot buy this shit for under 39,000. I mean, Bitcoin is pretty much fully exposed. That's why it's probably worth 39,000, because we know that a lot of people believe in it and what it does. If you want that type of confirmation for an investment before you buy it, you will always buy tops. If you do not take risks, it will be very, very difficult to become very, very wealthy one day over the other. Not saying start gambling, not at all. But yeah, if you want to guarantee, buy a toaster. And that was Clint Eastwood who said it, not I. And that's where the game is. I saw from a fellow Quamrad in another group who was ecstatic that his last two bets made up for his, I believe it was
45. Yeah. I think 45 trades. Yeah.
Other trades. And that's just mind-boggling to me. I mean, everybody can have their own hobby, but if I need to make 47 trades, lose 45 times, and then make it up in two others. To me, that feels like truly like a casino. Granted, the neon I bought because that person was so adamant about buying it, and some other people jumped on. That's why I also got it. So I owe that to him. So thank you for this. But it just shows how random it is, right? And that is, he also had other calls, and apparently he lost on most of them. Never heard back of those calls ever again. So I kind of was quote unquote lucky. Or maybe he knew, that's why he pushed this so hard, that this was the one, but he had hope for the other ones.
Yeah.
So that's difficult, right? And he shared this. So
and he was
that's how
right. I didn't listen.
Besides that, he shared how many lost trades he had. Yeah, in quotation marks, lost trades. But if he hadn't told us, we could have been under the impression that he is a trading genius. Calling Neon, and I also called a few others that did reasonably well. Most of them were also SCQ picks, SEC. But that would have been kind of incorrect because obviously he lost 45 to 47 bets he made. And what I want to urge in this regard is careful about your heroes, right? For lack of a better word, this is a phrasing that a lot of people understand. It's very rare that you see the entire truth of what somebody is doing with their trades, right? What their financials are, how they got there, what they actually did versus what they said. And that can be pretty much a mindfuck because if somebody seems to be winning all the time, every time when he puts his money on zero, he wins. You should actually already know statistically that that is not the reality and not the truth. But you're probably not doing that bad at all, right? And I'm looking with a lot of love towards my co-host, who is very, very disciplined when it comes to holding on to our prize project and not buying shit coins. He's on his phone again, so he cannot hear.
No, I'm listening.
But there's a lot of respect there from me, and but it's also hard because he's not buying into the shitcoin shills at all, and that makes it then pretty sad if a coin that you heard from does 5, 6x, and you're like, nah, fuck that, I'm not buying that shit, and then it makes another 10x, right? You need to be very strong-willed to to maintain that, and I can
that's
understand
literally what happens. And I think that the thing also is with all those polls left and right. I was thinking about it today. As I said, it's this lazy week in between Christmas and New Year's, so you have a lot of time to think, and that's never a good idea. Always when I start thinking, it goes downhill for me. Rather be busy and don't think about anything at all. That's on a side note, though. But like, I don't necessarily have to anymore, right? When I started this entire adventure, I had a different mindset. I was listening to every single call, I was listening to every single piece of information. But now I'm getting more and more conservative because I've seen how things can go in a negative way. It doesn't always have to be that people call something that it goes up and up and up and up. But yeah, that makes it hard though, right? So like, I'm at peace with it to a certain degree that I didn't join the bandwagon. But it's also difficult because then I'm like, they are actually right this time, and it makes you question your further decisions. Well, it just makes me question myself. Like, am I actually able to to make the right decisions now again.
Yeah, that's also the risk of crypto Twitter, right? If people only leave their winning trades on their feed, and people have a very short memory, right? Us,
Oh,
the
they do.
consumers, have a very short memory. If they only leave their right trades on there, you could be very much inclined to follow somebody every step, at the risk of losing everything, or winning once and twice, right? The gambler's dilemma, conundrum, whatever you want to call it. So I get it, but it's yeah, it's like I said, man. I bought 3 shitcoins this run, and I'll just leave them, and I hope I can get like what a 50x out of them. That'd be cool. And if not, then it's fine. Not gonna be flipping left and right. And my dopamine will be satisfied that I can just hold on to my beloved QNT and just wait until the inevitable confirmation stacks on more confirmations. And then we will be the ones selling tops if we can have that discipline as well.
Yeah, that will be another problem in the future. But
it's not such a problem.
It's just so like I'm just in doubt at the moment.
Yeah.
Not sure what to do. Not sure where
to
to
the doubt
head.
will remain, right? The doubt will remain because if we go 50x from now, you'll be, oh my god, this looks really toppy. And if we go down like what is it, 20%, is like, oh, will this be the bottom or do I need to sell now because we're going lower? It's
the doubt will always remain. And
yeah. That's why you need to get the fuck out of crypto as soon as you can.
Yeah, at least secure your profits. That's step one.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a good summary also for last year. I mean, it's looking brighter than the year before. It's definitely looking brighter than 2022.
Yeah.
But the doubt remains.
Yeah. And what I want to add to this is what I found interesting is the word greed, right? Everybody's like, check your greed.
Oh, that's something I've said a lot last few days.
And I want to add to that, check your fear, right? What I did with optimism, I sold it at 170. And that was after it went to 2, then went to 140 and it climbed up to 170. And I was thinking, did I take the profit? Did I sell because it was free? It was an airdrop? Did I sell it out of greed or out of fear? And I wasn't afraid it was going to dump per se, to a degree, but fear of something dumping is also greed. But I wanted to get some of my other shitcoins to do more, to flip and flip and flip and flip onwards. But that's also that's greed. So where is the line of greed and fear? And how do you define that? I think it is always too easy that people say, yeah, you held through the top. You were greedy.
There was this
but for me, with Quant, it was fear because I was afraid I was going to miss the next 2x up to 1K. Obviously, because we know what we know. So it wasn't greed, it was fear, but it was also greed because I wanted more. But we don't want to say we're fearful, or we'd rather say we're greedy because that is part of the culture. Or is it the other way around? Because selling if something dumps could very well also be greed. But greed is not an emotion. Fear is.
Yeah.
But then we have euphoria, which can do the same thing as fear. So then they say you shouldn't be emotional. You should have targets, okay? And then I have targets. If my target is 500 and we get there very organically over the duration of 4 months, am I then taking profit? And what happens if it goes to 500 in a day? Am I then taking profits? So what does then that single number mean if you don't take into account the rest? That is your gut or your brain for analysis. So where do all those advice stand, right? Those recommendations, those rules. I'm taking 10% profit when it hits 1,000, right? You can do that. But I'm sure as shit that it does matter to you how we get there. It's oh, sorry, Tim, what's going on?
No, there was this community member. Yeah, I mean, there was this community member who always talks about this control your fear. What was it? He had a trading group. What's his name?
Carl?
Huh?
Carl?
No, not Carl. The opponent of Carl, so to say. You had Carl.
Oh,
you had the
yeah,
two trading groups.
the Dutch guy.
No, not the Dutch guy. The former Marine, the guy who lived in like what was it? Like not Marine, like the it was a veteran at least.
Oh,
He lived on one of those islands, I think. In the south of the EU. I think it was on like
oh,
Puerto Rico.
shit.
It was on Puerto Rico.
Okay, yeah. Removed.
At least, huh?
Removed.
Removed.
Yeah.
He got removed from my memory.
Yeah. Removed.
No, removed. He always, yeah, exactly. He always talked about this idea, right? That you should also, indeed, control your fear in cases that the market goes down, and but you are now using that in a way that once it goes up, you call it fear. That you fear that you miss out on the pump.
Yeah.
It's funny how this psychology goes. You can turn and twist it every way you like.
Of course. But yeah, we always have these types of allergies to specific emotions and specific words, right? But let's not get into this. I am baked, Tim. We are here nearly an hour. What is it? 50 minutes?
Almost an hour in. I think we should kind of round it up.
Yeah.
With this being the last episode of this year.
Yeah. And and upcoming what? It's now Wednesday.
Yeah.
The
Wednesday.
time you see this video, it's Thursday. Then it's 1 or 2 trading days. Then it's New Year's. And then it's Tuesday, and then we'll see how everything will continue. I don't think there will be a lot of changes. If you're from the Netherlands and you're watching this, probably from every country, make sure on January 1st you make a snapshot of all your wallets. Make sure you do your administration. Maybe not do it on January 1st. Sober up a bit first. Get your fingers reattached. Then come back on January 2nd. And make sure you log all your values for the tax man. Maybe a year in advance.
Yeah, actually, the current price action is unfavorable for us. It's also been playing through my head. The further we pump before January 1st, the worse it gets.
Yeah, but this is for your tax return on 2025.
True, but still.
Yeah. This year is going to be a cheap one.
Last year is going to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Last year was expensive. Anyway, take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Be careful. Stay Quamfy. Careful on the shitcoin gambling. Indulge a little. Maybe go just one or just 1% of your portfolio. I don't know. Keep yourself satiated. Keep following us. Leave a comment, leave a like. We hope to see you next year. We'll be back. Same style, same bullshit. As ever.
Just a different year.
Yes. Stay Quamfy.
Stay Quamfy.